Hello, Confederate Wonder Woman here, and we are just going over how to amateurly make your own wool dryer ball out of your own wool. Um, so I'll go over the various little steps, and we'll try to keep this nice and short. Now, we can't go over the first step, which is getting the wool off the sheep because we don't own the sheep anymore. We gave them a new home. But this is the wool. And we had cleaned it once, like actually thrown it in the washing machine. Some people might not think that's a good idea. I didn't know what else to do, and that probably wasn't a good idea. But anyway, I take the wool and I pull off a little chunk, and then I put it in here and I clean it by pulling off the seeds and bugs and whatever, and I try to get them into approximately the same sort of width. And I try and make them nice and long. Sorry, I'm not very good at recording this. Once you have that, I have this board that's long and it has a hook right there. And I take the wool and I pinch it around the hook and I spin it like this. And slowly I add more wool and I get it longer, so I'll show you how I do that. You just lengthen it so it's approximately the length you need. And you'd pinch the two together where there's a little bit here and a little bit here. This way the threads, the hairs, start going together. And sometimes I encourage it to spin just up here by using my fingers and rubbing them like that. And it kind of adds to it. And so I stop when there's a little bit of hair left there, and I will add more spinning like that. And you spin always in the same direction, obviously. And when I need to shorten this up, I spin it around and I go around the hook again so that stays, and I can just continue spinning. If you end up with a section that's too thin, say I kept spinning and it gets super thin up here, I just add another section down where I think it's too thin, so where it's already spun, and I just kind of pinch down at the base of the section I just added, and I encourage it to spin there to help build it up again. You want to be careful so you don't have sections that are too thick, because wherever it's too thick, it's not going to spin the same amount. So like if it is too thick, just kind of spin it tighter with your hands, and then you can try to continue just to build it up so that you get the nice long thread. I have found that you need about 33 feet to make a nice size dryer ball. So let's say we're finished, which obviously we're not because we only have this little section here. You take it and you wrap it around your fingers, and then you wrap it around what you have already, and you just slowly create it into a nice little ball. Once you get it off, I take a crochet hook, or you could just find a hole and you put it into that end and you move threads over that hole. So now you just have a little ball. Obviously, this is not the size you want your ball. You want it more like this, a nice big size. And then you boil it, and we'll be going over the boiling process in a bit. Another thing I figured I should show is if your string breaks and you have to reconnect it and you're going to have this part all twisted, what you have to do, or at least what I've been doing, there's millions of ways that are probably better than what I do. I just make it all thread-like again. Sometimes I scrap this piece if it's too difficult because you have to kind of build up and it's already weakened. So I will twist it some and then I will come back down so it's the thickness I want it to be. Trying to make sure it's all the individual hairs all becoming one thread. Not sure how well you can see that, but you just want it all to become one thread. So it's nice and thick. And when it ends up being too thick like this at top, I will just kind of pull it and try to get it to be the thickness I want it to be. And you just keep building up from there. Alright, these are the 3 that we're going to do today. This one, as you can tell, it's a little bit smaller than the others. That one there. Anyway, that one has actually already been boiled, but when I put it in the dryer, it came apart. So we're going to see if I can boil it again and keep it smaller. These 4 are ones that are already done. These 2 are my first. So they're a little bit smaller. They're interesting, but this is them felted and not. There's a very slight difference, kind of in the light there. But they're a little more together, where they're shrunk and the hairs are more intertwined. Where this is little, each individual thread is more defined. Not sure if you can tell the difference. Alright, this is the last little part. I was told don't use the pot that you're going to boil the wool balls in for anything else. But I don't see why, because you use lanolin, which is in the wool, for other things, such as when you're nursing and you get a crack in your nipple, you know, and you're able to ingest it. It's not a problem. Anyway, so I use this for cooking still, but you are recommended not to. Anyway, so we've got the water boiling. We're going to turn it down because we don't really want it boiling that much. And then you add your wool balls. And you're supposed to watch them pretty closely. Oops, wrong thing. As soon as you're done, you have cold water ready for them. Anyway, I keep rotating it so hopefully they shrink evenly all over. I still have had issues with certain ones coming apart, like the one I told you about earlier. That's in here now. I do, I think, like 15 minutes, and then I let them cool in the water. I use them in the dryer for my clothes to kind of test them out and see how they're doing. So we're going to do that, but first we're going to boil them and see how they do. Okay, I'll get a timer going though. Now, the best way to actually do the dryer balls, in my opinion, is in your washing machine if you have hot water connected to your washing machine. We don't, and that is why we're doing this amateur way on the stovetop. They have been going now for 15 minutes, and this is what it looks like. It smells like Guinevere in here, which is the name of our sheep. Or lamb? Sheep? What's the plural? Sheep. Anyway, it's both anyway. The water is brown because the shape was supposed to be white, but she got dirty. I'm not sure it's because of the oils also, because this is what happens every time we do the wool dryer balls. Anyway, we're going to take them out. We're going to drain the water. I can't really do that. I got a baby on my shoulder, and so I'm just going to pause it, and we'll show you the end result after it's been through the dryer. So I have a slotted spoon for frying, and I put the ball onto it and let it drain out as much as possible. This is really hot water, obviously, because it was boiling, and the water inside the wool ball will remain hot until further notice. So you just be careful as you're working with this because it's all very hot. And we put it into the sink and just kind of let it cool there for a while until it's ready to be put into the laundry. I have now put the balls through the spin cycle of the washing machine to help dry them out. And now I pick out the oil I want to use. And so this is my selection. And I personally like the mixture. So I'm doing the tThis. And so, let's see if I can even do this right. Open it, obviously. And each one just needs like a drop or two. And for a while, it's actually going to still smell a lot like Gwen. But after a while, it smells really good. Didn't take long. So if you get normal, like, yarn, 100% wool from, like, your grocery, craft store or wherever you like to go, you can get the smell-free kind. But if you want the kind that you grow yourself, it's gonna smell a little bit like a lamb. Alright, I'll turn this off. The dryer is done, and now the moment of truth. Uh-oh, I see dryer ball. So it looks like one came apart. Let's see. See if the other one had. Eden, you're not being helpful. So one made it. Ah, Eden, stop. So that concludes the lesson for today. I don't know what the lesson is, but this is how you do it. From pelt to felt. Here you go.